Habakkuk chapter 2 verses 2 through 3 says, "And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." Family, I just wanted to talk to you for a minute about a very important word. It's a word that's used a lot in the church world, but it's also a word that's seldom seen in the church world. A lot of people talk about vision, but very few actually see vision. A little over 5 years ago, the Lord began to give a vision of a place, and not just any place. It was a vision of a place where you could come as you are, but you would not leave like you came. It was a place where miracles wasn't just talked about, but they were experienced. It was a place where the God who does not change is changing lives. A place where a God who loves us can actually love us in spite of where we've been, in spite of what we've done, and in spite of who we were. But he loves us unconditionally, not because of me, but in spite of me. A place where the presence of God is welcomed, and a place where there's an atmosphere of expectancy every time we walk in the doors. And in January of 2018, New Day Fellowship was planted. We started in the living room of a house in Thomasville, North Carolina, and very quickly and miraculously, God opened the door to our first location at 5521 Meadowbrook Drive in Trinity, North Carolina. And the Lord blessed, and the Lord showed himself mightily. We've seen God save souls. We've seen people restore, renew, or even begin a relationship with the Lord. We've seen people delivered. We've seen people healed. We saw cancer have to bow. Life support was no match for our God. People have walked out of hospitals when the doctor said they wouldn't walk out of hospitals. COVID has to bow. We saw lung transplants be successful. We saw where doctors said no way, but God said yes way, and miracle babies were born. There are so many miracles that we've seen, and it's all because God gave a vision, and he's been faithful, and we grew. We were told that all we would find were empty pews and empty chairs, but God. We were told it wouldn't last, but God. We were told COVID was going to shut down churches, but God, because we knew that Jesus said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men to me. So we did lift him up, and he did draw men, and we grew. Remember, we're talking about vision here. And we grew to the point where we knew that we were very quickly outgrowing 5521 Meadowbrook Drive. It was an amazing facility, and we're so grateful for all that God did there. But vision required us to move forward. So God did another miracle and opened the door for us to move to our current location at 211 Swarthmore Avenue in High Point, which is just a few miles up the street from our previous location. And God has been blessing in amazing ways. We've seen God do so much, and he's so good to us, and we believe that God has us here for such a time as this, to build a multi-generational, multicultural body of believers for one purpose, with one heart, with one mind, in one accord, for one king, in one building, for one kingdom. When we moved here, we saw so much potential, and we were and still are so excited to see the vision come to pass. So we began to work on what you can see today. And this is truly an amazing God-given facility that welcomes the presence of the Lord every time we gather together. One thing we always like to say is this: it is his house, so we might as well let him have his way. And when we moved in, we knew that there was one glaring weakness that we had. There was really no dedicated space for our youth, because our youth need some space where they can be youth. And we knew it, and we saw it, and we heard it. But we knew God had a plan, because from day one, there has always been a plan and a vision for what God wanted. So this morning, I'm so excited overjoyed and in awe of the goodness of God as I announce the latest step in the vision God has for New Day as we enter into our brand new 3,900 square foot youth center located on the property directly behind our sanctuary.